Councillor Chris Vince, portfolio holder for communities and wellbeing. It's a shame to see the paddling pools lying empty of water. Still people down there.
Yeah.
What has been the short-term and long-term plan with the paddling pools in Harlow?
Yeah, I mean, it is a real shame, and we want, people of Harlow, the young people of Harlow particularly, to enjoy these iconic and, much loved facilities. I think we've learned over the last year how much they mean to the people of Harlow, and that's young and old, and I hope that there's going to be, and, I feel very positive as a councillor in administration that we're going to have, it's the next generation going to be able to enjoy these paddling pools as well. We took the decision not to open the paddling pools this summer, partly, of course, due to mainly due to the terrible pandemic that is still going on, and recognising that these are hugely popular, and the crowds that would be using them would be huge really, and it just wasn't a tenable proposition. But what it does give us an opportunity to do is do the much needed repair and upgrading of the facilities. I mean, we need to look at them. They're wonderful, iconic a part of Harlow, but they are in need of repair and maintenance.
I was going to say that because we can see in the distance, and you don't need to turn around, that they look like they need a little bit of TLC down there.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And the plus side is that, while they are closed over the summer, it is an opportunity for us to do that work. Not only in terms of, giving them that TLC, making sure that they are in line with the necessary government guidelines, and also in terms of the one at Staple Tie, which is again another iconic part of Harlow, which is to look at whether introducing toilet facilities and actually, upgrading those facilities. So that's it's an opportunity, shall we say. It's obviously hugely disappointing in the short term for people, but I think it's also, worthy of note that it's not as simple as just putting the water in them. It is a case of we needed to train up the lifeguards. We needed to, as I say, make sure they're up to the health and safety standards, and that just hasn't been possible yet. So it's a good opportunity to make sure we can get workmen in, obviously maintaining all the necessary health and safety standards that we need to during this difficult time, and make them even better than ever for next year.
Widening your brief, we are now in the summer holidays.
Yeah.
Is there enough for young people, about community and well-being, is there enough for young people to do over this period, do you feel?
Well, normally I'd make the joke that my school holidays don't start till next week because my school doesn't break up till tomorrow, but obviously it's a very strange time for young people. They've experienced a long period of time of being stuck in their homes, many of them, and that, you can imagine, is very difficult for young people. And it's difficult for everyone, but particularly difficult for young people. And I think an example of that was when Livewire did their lockdown programme a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, and it was, I think it's a bit of history, to be honest, and showed how it has affected young people. So we're very aware that young people have had a really difficult time, and we've looked at a number of things that we can introduce throughout the summer, sort of creative and craft workshops, both here in the town park and also at Harlow Museum. Harlow Museum itself is obviously opening to the public as of this weekend, as is Parndon Wood Nature Reserve. Also, there will be summer camps being run by the wonderful Changing Lives guys, who I've worked with a few years now. I can't say a number of years, but a few years now, to do sports activities, etc. So there will be activities run across the town, both by the council and by Essex Council, and also by other organisations, to ensure that young people have things to do. I would say the caveat that, of course, is that these things will need to be booked in advance, with the government guidelines, and obviously the importance of social distancing and making sure that we don't spread this virus. We do need to make sure that these are things that are booked in advance.
Just as you mentioned it, and just go back on it, you mentioned Livewire. Were you impressed in your portfolio, and as just simply a fan, where a lot of the theatre groups, arts groups, dance groups in Harlow they weren't going to be defeated by the lockdown, and they really were able to express themselves using online? Yeah,
I mean, you're right. I think I would say I'm a fan of Livewire. I think that's a really good description, and I'm delighted that we can continue to support them at Harlow Playhouse. And I did have a conversation with Sam Ashworth yesterday about that performance. It was incredible, frankly it was, and it was such a powerful piece of theatre, a piece of drama actually, and yeah, it's shown not only the strong spirit that Harlow's got, but the strong spirit that Harlow's young people have got. And you're absolutely right that we're not going to be defeated by this, It's also, another example of that, which was highlighted last week to me, was Harlow Youth Council, who I've been to their meetings for a number of years now, and they they saw the opportunity, perhaps, if you like, of being in lockdown to do things to campaign and make videos on things they really cared about. And they did a fantastic video on mental health and young people's mental health, which we kind of touched upon earlier, and also about the Black Lives Matter movement as well. So there is, yeah, it's really shown. It's been a terrible time for a lot of people in our town, and we recognise that. But it's been so encouraging and, yes, inspiring. Let's be honest, let's call it that, inspiring, to see what people in our town have done against adversity. And that performance by Livewire was just typified that for me.